This short video is from a comprehensive course on Udemy.
In this video, we'll look at two of the best ChatGPT alternatives available, Gemini and Copilot. We'll learn about their main features and how to interact with them. As we go along, I believe you'll begin to form preferences for one of these systems over the others. So let's take a look at some Gemini highlights, and then we'll hop into a demo. First off, Gemini is Google's AI platform. Much like we've seen with ChatGPT, it offers a free version and a paid version. The paid version is $20 a month. Gemini is trained on an extensive data set of code and text. It is able to process and understand that data to provide us with robust answers in real time. Google Search is integrated into Gemini, so we have access to the most accurate and recent information available. No concern with knowledge cutoffs here. Gemini excels with communication skills. Whether it's drafting an email with a professional tone, creating a heartwarming poem, or effectively translating documents, you'll see that this is an area where this platform really stands out. With Google extensions and workspace integration, Gemini truly becomes our AI assistant. It can create documents, find flights, navigate with maps, and so much more. With generative capabilities that can get quite creative, Gemini can also help us delve into artistic realms. Brainstorming for new ideas can be a huge asset here. Okay, so here I am at the sign up screen for Gemini, and you'll see that URL pop up on your screen. Just enter that into your browser and it'll bring you here. So to access Gemini, you're going to need to have a Google account. So if you're one of the very few human beings on planet Earth that doesn't have a Gmail address, and I can think of a few reasons why you might not want that, but to access Gemini, you're going to need that. So head to this page, and then you can go on over to the upper right-hand corner, or just head on over here, click this. I already have a Gmail address, but if you don't, just head over here, click this, and you can move forward with the process that way. So here we are at the main screen for Gemini. The basic functionality of these AI platforms, ChatGPT, Copilot, and Gemini, are pretty similar. For example, previous chats lining up on the side of the screen, uploading images for analysis, things like that. In light of this, I'll just touch on a couple Gemini features here, and then I'll transition into showing a couple of the highlights that were mentioned earlier. So first, let's take a look at these Gemini extensions. So if I head down here to Settings, click there, and scroll on up, the extensions area can be accessed here. So depending on why you're here, why you're using Gemini, you might want to enable some of these to help you with prompt generation. So if you're taking a trip, Google Flights might be good to initialize, Google Hotels, Google Maps. Down here, you can see the YouTube extension is already initialized. So depending on what your prompt is, Gemini might include a YouTube video, which enhances its response to your prompt. And then right here, if you initialize the Google Workspace extension, then this will integrate with Gmail, Google Drive, Google Docs. And if you have work to do in those areas, Gemini can assist you there. So let's head on out of here. And over here, the main section of the screen, again, much like ChatGPT, you can see that the system is showing off for us here, showing us what it can do, the prompts that it can answer. And this right here, this is right up my alley. So I'm going to click on this and then head on down here and see how it handles this prompt. Right here, I have an answer for this prompt, but Gemini generates more than one response. So I have draft 1, draft 2, draft 3, and if I don't like any of them, come on over here and I can regenerate all 3 of them and get different answers. So now let's briefly touch on some of those Gemini highlights that we went through in the previous slide. So up first would be access to real-time internet information. All right, so here's my prompt. Please provide me with some news highlights from this week in Flagstaff, Arizona. That definitely involves some recent events. So this will be a good test of the Gemini system. Let's see what it does. And we have our response here. And right here it says Flagstaff, Arizona, this week, February 18th to the 22nd, 2024. that is this week. We've got weather, local news, national news, additional resources with internet links. So yeah, that highlight is backed up. And lastly, another one of those highlights that I mentioned in the previous slide was those Google extensions that are integrated into Gemini. So right here I have, I'm considering a trip to Colombia around June 1st. Can you give me a few round-trip ticket prices from Atlanta to any big city in Colombia? Now, to initialize these extensions, to use them in a particular prompt, we've already initialized them in the extensions area, which we find over here. But to include it in this prompt, I type in @ and then it gives me this menu here. These are currently disabled, so to use them, I would have to go back into settings and enable them. But Google Flights is already enabled, so I hit this, and then I kick off this prompt and see what it does. And we've got our answer here. Now remember, Gemini doesn't always get it right, so it is a good idea to double check whatever we get with AI. But as I scroll down, I've got options here to 2 different cities. We've got prices, times for departure and arrival, different airlines. Yeah, this is a pretty good response. And just for kicks, I entered in one more prompt because some of those highlights were language translation. How do you say, "Thanks for all your help, I really appreciate it," in Spanish? And here we go. I have informal ways to say it, formal, and this looks good. I could take it with me to Colombia and put these phrases to good use. So now let's take a look at some Copilot highlights and then hop into a demo. First off, Copilot is Microsoft's AI platform. And again, much like we've seen with ChatGPT, Gemini, it offers a free version and a paid version. The paid version is $20 a month. With Copilot, we get up-to-date information and website references. This platform is also integrated into the Microsoft 365 suite, allowing for AI assistance with apps such as Excel, Word, PowerPoint, etc. Copilot utilizes the powers of GPT-4 and GPT Turbo, generating responses quicker and with higher quality. Crafting emails, drafting reports, all of this comes easier. Design creativity is enhanced with DALL-E 3, while content creation as a whole is deftly handled by Copilot's advanced understanding of context and nuance within language. We can add plugins to enhance Copilot's capabilities, and in similar fashion to ChatGPT Plus, with the GPT Builder, you can customize this platform to cater to your specific needs and requirements. Okay, so here we are at the sign up page for Microsoft. And according to Copilot itself, you don't necessarily need a Microsoft account to use the platform. Apparently, it's accessible through something called a GitHub Copilot extension. So you could go that route if you want, or you could just come here and create a Microsoft account and use the platform that way. And it is pretty easy to do. And obviously, you do need a Microsoft account to use the paid version called Copilot Pro. And to do that, you just head to that URL that you see on your screen right now. It'll bring you here, and then click on this button. And I already have a Microsoft account, but if you don't, just head here, click that, and move forward with the process that way. All right, so here we are on the main screen for Copilot, and I'll go ahead and touch on a few features, and then we'll take a look at a couple highlights that I mentioned earlier. This right here is a new feature that wasn't included with Bing. This has to do with Microsoft's OneNote app. So if I click on this, now we're looking at the notebook feature, which offers an enhanced interface designed for refining and developing your text prompts without the standard Copilot chat interface. This tool is tailor-made to streamline the creation and modification of text prompts for the generative AI chatbot. With the capability to handle up to 18,000 characters, it significantly exceeds Copilot's usual 4,000 character limit, accommodating much longer pieces of work. This means you can work on extended documents and receive assistance with proofreading or summarizing. And as you look through the screen here, you can see some of the features down here, what we see on the main Copilot screen. So if you're coming to Copilot for more than just casual searches, if you're working on something that's taking a lot of brain power, you might want to utilize the notebook section of Copilot. and maybe look into that OneNote app that Microsoft has in greater detail. If I head over here along the top of the screen, Copilot has access to plugins just like ChatGPT Plus has. So I can choose up to 3 plugins for a conversation. I can search for plugins, and here are some of the ones that they have lined up for me. If I want to engage these, enable them as I'm doing my search, I just click here, and Klarna is good to go. I can turn that back off. And so this is a nice asset that Copilot has. So I'll head back on up here, head back to chats. And so now Copilot has GPTs, again, just like ChatGPT Plus. So we're on the regular Copilot GPT right now. GPTs are customized versions of the particular AI platform that you're using. So right here, this is the Copilot Designer. And remember, DALL-E 3 is integrated into Copilot. Heading back over here, there's a vacation planner. So if you need to brainstorm for a trip, or you already have one in mind and you just need to plan it out, you can come here, and this GPT is specifically designed to help you discover new places, like it says, create itineraries, and help you book your travel plans. Now we've also got a cooking assistant, fitness trainer, and you can see how these come in handy. You can integrate AI into your day-to-day life and utilize these GPTs for various aspects of your day. So we'll head back to the regular Copilot, and then down here, personalization is currently on. I can turn this off if I want, but if I leave it on, Copilot, through my Microsoft account, is going to keep track of me as I come back and continue to use it, and it'll be customizing this experience for me over time. And remember, Copilot is getting to know me, but we're also helping to train these AI platforms. It's a mutually beneficial relationship here. Now, if I scroll down a bit, depending on the prompts that you're entering into the system, you have 3 different conversation styles to choose from. Right now, we're on more balanced, and you're balanced between these 2 options. If I click this, I'll have a more precise conversational style enabled. So depending on the reason why I'm here, what I'm creating prompts for, if it's more mathematical, if it's science, if you need those really precise answers, then you're going to want to click this. Or if you're here to be very creative, you're brainstorming, maybe you're writing poetry, you're writing fiction, you might want to engage this conversational style. So I'll put it back on more balanced. And now let's touch on some of those highlights that I mentioned in the previous slide and get to know Copilot just a little bit better. So the first highlight I'll touch on is image creation with DALL-E 3. So I engaged the designer GPT here. And as you can see, these images, you can get really in-depth and detailed with what you can create with Copilot. But I entered in a pretty basic prompt down here, create an image of an elf throwing a football in Rivendell, and more points for you if you know what Rivendell even is. So I'll head on over here and see what it does with this. Okay, so we've got 4 images here to choose from. And honestly, yeah, we've got an elf. This looks like Rivendell. And there is a football. Looks like he's tossing it, and not necessarily throwing it to me. But I can click on this. And now I can get a really good look at this particular image. And as you can see along the side here, we have different options that I can enter into this image and customize it a little bit more. And so, yeah, we can definitely create top-notch, high-quality images with the Copilot Designer GPT powered by DALL-E 3. Lastly, and this is a wild one, I decided to highlight a plugin. So I went down here and I engaged the Suno plugin. And here's my prompt. I asked it to create a rap song about working from home in West Virginia, constantly being in virtual meetings, and receiving never-ending TPS reports. And it sure did. It created an actual song, complete with lyrics here for me to follow along. And over here, if I click this, which you can see that I already did, it'll play the song back to me. Cutting-edge technology right here. AI creating music on the spot. And I'm not going to read the lyrics back to you, but I'll give you a quick listen. Here's telecommuting in the Mountain State.
Working from home in the Mountain State, that virtual meetings is our daily strand, yeah. Out of state, focus grinding all day long, but these TPS reports got me singing this.
So as you can hear, Copilot can create music via plugins for any scenario that you can give it. Now that we've gotten to know Gemini and Copilot, here are some exercises for really each platform. You can interchange them. Up first, ask Gemini a question about a product you would like to buy. And then the second one, ask Copilot to provide a detailed analysis of a particular issue that is important to you or your community. So feel free to hop into these, customize them a bit, and get to know both of these AI platforms just a little bit better. So in conclusion, I'd say that both Gemini and Copilot are powerful AI platforms that are currently revolutionizing the way we interact with information. As we've seen, both systems can be used to generate everything from creative and artistic content to very precise and accurate content, and many options in between. Both platforms are positioning themselves to be very capable competitors to ChatGPT. I suggest using all three of them, and over time you'll begin to see which one works best for you, or maybe each one will serve a different purpose for your various AI needs. In the next video, we'll be taking a look at ChatPDF.